He was old and slow. He'd never felt so old, nor so slow. He'd run down 6 flights of stairs, hit ground level, and found a locked door. What kind of parking garage has fire stairs that are locked at street level? A derelict parking garage, that's what. He could only go up again because if he stayed here, he would be killed for sure. But if he went up again, he'd probably be killed too. Maybe he could go up 1 level and jump to the ground? James Burrow took the stairs 2 at a time, even though his legs were burning. The last time he had done any running was a Boston half marathon when he was 30, 20 years ago now. He got to the 2nd floor, stood by the metal door, tested whether he could open it. It opened a crack, but it opened with a creak. He'd left his would-be killer on the 5th floor, gone up, run across the 6th floor roof parking, and down the stairs on the other side. Chances the killer would be right outside? Not 0. He listened. No sound in the concrete and metal stairwell. He put his ears to the crack in the doorway. No sound outside. Easing the door open just wide enough to slip himself through gave a screech like a bird of prey calling, but he was out and running again, headed for the nearest railing. He hit it so fast he nearly tipped over, looked down. It looked about 20 feet and dropped onto unforgiving concrete. If he jumped here, the least he would break was his ankles. He looked up and down the path below for bushes, an awning, anything that might break his fall without breaking his back. A bullet smacked into the concrete by his waist. He lurched away from it, ducking down, and ran for the stairwell again, heaving the door open, another bullet smacking into the iron frame with a heavy metal whang. He pulled the door shut and hesitated. Up or down? No, not down. But he got an idea. He took off a shoe, threw it on the landing down to the next floor, then began running up the stairs again. Bait. Maybe the killer didn't know the street-level door was locked. If Burroughs didn't get shot, he was going to die of a heart attack, that was for sure. He hadn't heard a gun. A gun going off inside an empty garage? Shouldn't it make a noise? That wasn't good. His attacker was using a silenced weapon. Burroughs was no expert on assassins, but he was pretty sure being pursued by one using a suppressor was not a good sign. He got to the roof again. He had to make for the other stairs, hope that the exit door on the ground floor on that side wasn't locked. He hadn't tried it because in his panic he'd run up. He had to stop and breathe. The roof had parking spaces in rows around the outside and a large central air conditioning and elevator room in the middle. He ran for the air conditioning room, or hobbled, really, since he had only 1 shoe, which was stupid, running in 1 shoe, so he took the other off and heaved it down to the other end of the parking garage roof, where it clattered into the guard wall. Let his attacker think he'd gone off the 6th floor roof. Why not? He looked up. If it hadn't been a long time since James Burroughs had done any serious running, it was even longer since he'd done any climbing. But if he could get 1 foot on that exhaust duct, another on the fan outlet just above it, he clambered up the outside of the air conditioning room and rolled onto its roof. It was covered in discarded tubing and cables, and he lay there a moment, panting, listening for the sound of the stairwell doors opening. How the hell did he get here? He lay still, looking up at the dark sky, retracing the breadcrumbs.